What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down what not to do against press, okay? So we're going to be talking about what you shouldn't do against a physical DB and what you shouldn't do against a patient DB. So we're going to be talking about two routes here that I think they're both comeback routes, but I think this applies to any other route. What really not to do and what are some of the key points that these two receivers can improve on, right? Because, again, it's not about just being able to look at the good routes. That's what we do a lot on my page, but it's about being able to look at the poor routes, look at the plays that you didn't really work and how you guys can get better from them, okay? I don't want to make it look like I'm critiquing these guys or trying to bag on these guys, because simply just trying to make you guys better, make the audience better. And because, again, these are the guys out there on the field actually doing it. That's why I don't normally do videos like this, because I don't like doing this kind of thing. But a lot of you have requested a video like this. So if this goes well, hopefully, and then you guys get a lot of value of it, hopefully there'll be more in the future. Let's get started with this first route. So we're going to be talking about, this is going to be a more physical DB, right? So we're going to be getting an aggressive jam off the line, okay? So what this receiver, the mistake he does, right, he comes off the line and he doesn't really give him a move to the inside. He's patient and he has a pretty decent drop, but because he's so close to the sideline, it's an easy play for this DB and it's hard for the quarterback to make this play. So let's talk about it. So we got this physical guy right here. Probably know that he's going to get physical, standing his ground, right? We're coming off the line of scrimmage, and he gives him this little patient move, and then he gives this quick move to the inside right here, right? Now, the thing is that if you're going to attack the leverage of a DB, we can't just attack the leverage of a DB and then not give him anything else off of it, right? So the thing is, when you come off the line, what this receiver does is he comes off patient, and then he just kind of comes out of there, right? And he just runs to the sideline. The problem with that is we did nothing to get this DB on his inside leg, or we did nothing to get his cleats out of the ground. We did nothing to force him to the inside and threaten him to the inside, right? Because, again, off the line of scrimmage, right, he's inside shade. And if he's inside shade, what is he trying to force us to? He's trying to force us to the sideline, right? So I want to try to threaten him to where he doesn't want to go. And where he doesn't want to go, because we're not going to force an inside release on this, where he doesn't want to go is he doesn't want to go inside. He doesn't want to chase me across the field. He doesn't want to give me inside shade because he doesn't have help over there, right? The sideline is his help. So if we can threaten him with something to the inside, that's what moves him off this platform. So you see, he doesn't really threaten him with anything. The whole time, I knew he was running outside. I knew he was going. Maybe off the line rather than coming off with something patient. Maybe we give him a quick, just an out-in release. Give him a quick bam-bam or a triple step. I give him a right, left, right. But I give him something quick off the line of scrimmage to move him off that platform. That's the entire goal of this, to move him off that platform, get him to sit inside so I could work back outside, right? But because he just goes outside, and again, when this DB jams to get off a press, all you got to do is you got to beat this outside arm when you want to take an outside release, right? Now this guy's choking us off the line. He's getting real physical because I didn't move him. But if the goal is if you can move him off this platform and get him to sit on this outside leg and you beat this right arm, you're off a press. Then you could restack, you get into him, you get into his hip a little bit, you can lean into him, maybe if you're running an out route or even on a comeback route like this. And this receiver has a great hip drop, but the problem is that we don't give him anything to threaten him to the inside. So even if we do get hands off of him, and he does a good job of not panicking with this physical release. But because I didn't threaten him to the inside, all he's doing is just walling me straight into the sideline. Now, the whole problem is that hip drop, yeah, it's good. And yeah, he drops suddenly, right? And this DB, you did get a little bit of separation from this DB here. But you're so close to the sideline that you have no room to accelerate, right? Because there's three phases of every route. The DB played it perfectly. There's three phases to every route, right? You get the stem, the explosion at the top, and then the acceleration, right? But the acceleration is what keeps your separation. You get separation at the top of the route or off the line. Off the line, we didn't get much of that. But at the top of the route, you get separation with your hips. You drop your hips, you're violent with your hips, and then you accelerate. You use that energy to accelerate. But because we didn't give him anything off the line, I'm straight into the sideline. I have no room to accelerate because I'm going to run out of bounds. And then the quarterback, that's such a tight window to throw. And if the quarterback's late on this, maybe even by just a hair, DB's able to make a play and recover, right? So what would be best is if I could get in something off the line, if I give him something, a quick move off the line, and maybe threaten him to the inside, I beat this this outside arm, and I work to restack. And if I could work to restack, or at least just get into him a little bit to where you stay maybe on the top of the numbers, then when you snap it off and you do the exact same snap down, right, you drop your hips violently, you run out of the break and you focus on widening the distance. But because you're so close to the sideline, you got nowhere to run because that release didn't get him to lean, because we didn't swat that arm and we allowed him to get physical and wall me to the sideline. Okay, so that's definitely, it all builds, right? It built from the release all the way up to the acceleration. Everything about this play builds, and that's what you guys got to understand as a receiver, that the details matter. That's why you work so many detailed situations. Again, we're sitting back, we're critiquing this, but we're trying to learn from this, right? Because I'm sure people will be like, oh, well, let's see you go out there, let's see you do it, right? Just listen to the dang video. I really don't care what you have to say about that. Just focus on the guys who need to hear this to get better. That's the guys who are making this video for. Normally don't like to do this type of thing, but being able to combine the release into the stem, into the break, into the acceleration, that's what we need to be able to do, okay? Let's rewind this thing. Let's play this thing full speed. So he comes off here. Not really much of a move, right, that allows that DB to wall me to the sideline. I don't have any space to accelerate, and then I'm off. Okay, so now, first things first here, he's running a comeback, right? So if you got a comeback against man coverage, comeback, a quarterback usually is not going to throw a comeback on the fourth read, right? He's not going to go from 1 to 2 to 3 and throw it to the comeback or the third read and be able to hit it on time. Usually the third and the fourth read is something that you could hit where you got to get it out quick. You could be maybe a little bit late, like a check down or like a drag or maybe a dig second window. But when you're running a comeback and you got a DB who's pressed, you got to give him something way quicker than this because you got to understand timing. Now, let's talk about a couple things that he does wrong here. So you see how he kind of like just hesitates and he gives that 1-2, doesn't really do much. He's able to get the outside release. Now, his break at the top, I know we're focusing about off the line, right? And his break at the top's a little sloppy, and that doesn't really allow. If he would have had a better break and he would have been more violent with his hips and gotten lower, and you see how tall he is right here, he maybe could have created some explosion and helped with the acceleration out of the break, and maybe we wouldn't have had a hold. This might be a little bit of a hold here, but still, at the end of the day, this isn't going to work anyways, because when you come off the line and you're running this is something that a lot of people don't understand about 1-on-1s and 7-on-7, and then they try to do this exact same shit in the actual game, and that's why they don't see the field. That's why they get pulled off the field, because it takes too dang long, right? So when he comes off the line here, let's play this thing full speed and let's talk about it. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, and the ball should be out, right? That's 4 seconds that it took to run that route. And that's how you count, right? When you got maybe like, let's think about it. Like maybe like you're running like a crossing route or like you're the last read on a play. Maybe you have a little bit of time on this, but any kind of hesitation move where you like skip and hesitate then give a move, dude, that's probably only going to work on like a slant or maybe even a fade. This one is still too long because you want to be patient, but you still want to be quick. You want to be patient and then sudden and then explode off of there. But when you do this like skip 1-2 and then get up into it, the problem is that so many people glorify this kind of thing because they see it work and it looks cool, but the timing ain't there. This is not game realistic. Nobody's going to throw a comeback as their fourth read, so we got to make sure that we have a quick release in this situation. So what's a release that he could have used, right? This guy's inside shade, right? Lined up this guy's inside shade right here. What could he have used? He could have used a 1-2-3. He could have used a triple step release. He could have attacked his leverage almost like a squirt release and given him a 1-2, but he decides to almost stand up vertical and hop because you see this DB's keeping his leverage. He could just attack him right off the ball right now. That's the thing that you guys got to be able to do. You got to have multiple plans in your arsenal, right? And if you guys want to get better press releases and you want 20 different press releases that we teach, check out that link in the description. It says 20 press releases. It's a full 45-minute video on 20 different press releases that you guys can use to improve your game, okay? So that very first link in the description and drills to work on those releases. So if you want to get better at releases, check that out. But again, you guys got to have different things in your arsenal. My only go-to move can't be this little hesitate, step back, right? Give him something quick. Let's be a salesman with my upper half, right? Much like the last clip, you guys got to sell to the inside. He's inside shade. So what does that mean? He doesn't, and especially in one-on-ones, he doesn't have safety help to the inside. Let's threaten him to the inside. He doesn't want to chase me 50 yards over the middle, so let's threaten him there. Let's attack his leverage, but let's do it quickly. If he really wants to attack his leverage, he could give him something quick like a foot fire. He could give him something quick like chop those steps and then throw a 1-2, but you got to sell with your upper half. That's why being a salesman is so important. That's why being sudden with your feet is so important, so something like this doesn't happen, right? So it just takes a little bit too long. Little sloppy break at the top. Might be a little bit of a hold. But again, DB's in a good spot. I don't even care about the hold. I don't even tell my guys worry about the hold. You just got to go. Let's get some separation. If he's holding you, let's be violent with my hands. Let's get his hands off, right? So you can really draw that penalty. But you got to make sure that you have different things in your arsenal off the line of scrimmage. Okay, so that's definitely something, especially on a comeback, that you should not do. To see this first receiver here again, he was out of there quick. It's just he needs to sell it more and he needs to threaten him to the inside. But he had the right timing on it, right? But when you take all day on a comeback, it's not going to work. You guys got to know when to use those long releases where you're patient and maybe you work a slide. You never see guys in the NFL in-game, right? In-game film scenario. Take a slide release, work a move, and then they'll go run a dig or go run a comeback, go run a post. They don't do that. What they'll do is they'll slide the guy to the outside, they'll get him off his platform, they'll hit him with a quick 1-2 and run a slant. Or they'll slide, they'll get him sitting to the inside and run a fade. They don't do a slide and then do the footwork and then go run a dig or a post corner, anything longer developing, because they know they got to go. It's a long developing route. Let's get up there. The quarterback ain't going to be able to hold the ball for that much time. Even on a sprint out, the quarterback still's got to get the ball out because the timing of the play, and there are other routes that are working with your route. So the spacing will be off, the timing of the play will be off. So make sure you know when to use a quick release and when to use a long release, okay? So I hope this video gave you guys some value. Normally don't like doing this type of stuff, but I hope this video gave you guys some value. I know a lot of people have been requesting this type of a video, so I hope this helps. If you guys have any questions at all, please leave those in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And also, guys, again, if you want 20 different press releases, check out that very first link in the description with drills and when to use those releases. So we talk about everything pretty much we just talked about here, when to use those specific releases in game, certain scenarios. I'll see you guys next time.